What? You're expecting maybe a red face with horns and a pointy tail? Ha! That silly costume was made by you folks back in the 15th century. My name is Satan. And its original definition means adversary. Do you think of me as your adversary? I was found guilty of trying to raise my throne above the stars of God to make myself equal to the Most High, the enemy. You call him God, I call him the enemy. And for this great sin I was cast out of heaven. And now with the rest of my demons who follow me, we prowl around the earth like roaring lions looking for souls to devour and destroy. You heard of me immediately after the creation, when in the form of a serpent I lay in wait to deceive your first parents. Yeah, that was me. I go under different names, different titles, like Lucifer and Beelzebub and the devil. That's evil with a capital D. Sometimes I'm called the evil one. Sometimes the ruler or prince, I like that, of the kingdom of the air. Sometimes as the spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. Because all those who are not born of the enemy are in league with me. We could have made all of this a rather easy solution if Jesus would have only bowed down and worshiped me. But no! He had to care for the sick, heal the sick, make the blind see, the lame walk, even raise the dead. Drats! But I am one of great power, known for my remarkable ability to use my cleverness against humankind. That's you, and you, and you. And my plan is this. Since I am not given power from God to take you by force, I wait for opportunities to betray you and to catch you in my trap by the use of deception. I did make wonderful use of that serpent in the garden, didn't I? The most crafty of all beasts in the garden, in order to tempt your first parents. And accordingly, I am described in that God book as being cunning and crafty in my deceitful scheming. I will prove that to you. I will prove that to you with a question. Have you ever been deceived? More importantly, have I ever deceived you? Let's see. Have you ever told a lie, even a little white lie? Have you ever slandered or spoken negatively about your neighbor? Is your heart ever full of pride or deception, hatred, envy, revenge, and cruelty? Have you ever talked yourself on a Sunday morning out of coming to worship? Have you ever convinced yourself not to pick up that God book, to study it or just to read it? Too much trouble. Or have you ever convinced yourself not to attend a Bible study? I thought so. I love it. You live on this earth in a state of disorder, which was caused by the sin of man and woman. Therefore, you are getting what sin deserves. What a wonderful plan I have devised. You are not exempt from the common experience of all the enemy's children and of his angels, and yes, even of the goody two-shoes Son of God himself. You must never expect to have any rest from me, your spiritual adversary. I am your worst nightmare. Or will you be able to say, your combat with me is finished? But it's almost over. On this very day, on this Good Friday, and yes, it is a good Good Friday. I truly believe I have won the fight. Yes, I have won not only the battle, I have won the war. You see, I recruited one Judas Iscariot to betray Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, Jesus. And then he was handed over to the Roman army, more of my favorite people. And they handed him over to the Jewish Sanhedrin, perfect, egotistical snobs. Don't you just love them and their rigid religion? You see, my favorite scheme is to tempt others to be proud or to think more highly of themselves than they should. Those religious leaders really have their egos. They are so Sadducee. Sadducee, get it? I puff them up with the conceit of evil attainments, as if they were so important, and then I tempt them to look down on their brothers and sisters as if they were holier than they. Have I tried that on you yet? Back to my plan. I must admit the crowd went absolutely crazy, shouting, "Crucify him, crucify him," music to my ears. And then they took him away to execute him, and lo and behold, released a murderer in his place. Isn't that just fantastic? Even if I had not planned all of this, I would still have said it was sheer genius. I tempt you to feel perplexed and to begin to doubt the enemy when your prayers seem to go unanswered. And I do not doubt that many of you are even now experiencing deadness and dryness. And that is when I will tempt you to be impatient, to the great discomfort of your soul. I trouble you with blasphemous, impure, unbelieving thoughts. And I must say that among all the schemes that I make use of to get an advantage over you Jesus freaks, there is none in which I am more successful. Some people are apt to ascribe all such evil thoughts to the simple wickedness of man's heart, but those wicked thoughts come from me. No doubt. I have been given the freedom to test you as I destroy your faith. How often have I suggested that you curse God and die, and darted into your thoughts 1,000 blasphemous and wicked suggestions, even in your most secret and solemn times of prayer. Even now when you look back at those times of great temptations, it may cause your heart to tremble. And my greatest achievement is for you to be kept away from the worship service in the church. To be kept away from the enemy's table, or even prayer on account of those terrible suggestions. For that is when I get my desired advantage over you. It is all part of my devious and delicious plan by these wicked thoughts to make you stop worshiping, to make you desire not to pray, and to tempt you to believe that you please him for no other reason, only because you are really pleasing yourself. Anytime I can persuade you to think of yourself first and God second or third or fourth or 10,000th, oh, what a wonderful thought. You really do make me happy. You know, a wise man once gave this warning to all of you Christians. He said, when you determine in your heart to serve the Lord, be prepared for temptation from the evil one. Oh yes, carefully watch over your heart. And whenever you perceive yourself to be falling into some kind of spiritual sleep or slumber, say to it, you are falling into temptation. And it's okay. No need to wake up. Remain there in your seat. Remain there in your pew. and let the world go by. Be content and complacent. And for hell's sake, please don't take any part in church activities. Be complacent. Be a spectator. It's all right. And whenever you do, don't call upon your God. He doesn't hear you anyway. My God, why have you forsaken me? He shouts from my execution cross. I have nailed him. It is finished. Even he said that. He agrees with me. Poor, wretched man, poor, dead son of father enemy. Put him away in a grave or tomb somewhere. I'm going to celebrate with my millions of demons and minions. It is truly finished. I have won. Won't you celebrate with me?